What's up, folks? Welcome to the Best Family Outdoor Show. Today I'm going to talk about tires and pressure and how to check them, specifically for these big RVs with dually systems in the back. Alright? If you head over to the driver's side door, I'm going to show you a couple of things on the door panel that will give you good information on your car specs and what to pump into the tires. If you're ever wondering where to check for your tire air specs, when I say air specs, I mean how much PSI you fill in your tire, you check in the driver's side door jamb. So open it up and look right here. There's going to be a bunch of stickers. And since this RV is not new, some stickers are peeling. Okay, so every car should have one of these or one of these up here. And basically all it's telling you is the tire size that's stock, rim, and the pressure you should use in the tires. When I say pressure, I mean the amount of PSI you should pump in there. It's saying for single rear tires, you should do 75 PSI. For a dually, which is 4 tires in the back, 2 each side, you should do 80 PSI. Now going down here, every car should also have one of these. It should look very similar to this. And what this is telling you here is the front is going to be this tire and the rear is going to be that tire. The front is going to use 75 PSI cold and the back is recommended for 80 PSI cold. Mind you, these are manufacturer specs. Those are the recommended specs that you should use. But in practice, I have found different specs work a little bit better. Okay, look at this tire. It's like a brick because it's filled really high. Let's take a look at the PSI that it's at. Now, when you're checking PSIs, when you're checking for PSI pressure on tires, you can use this basic tools like this. There are some digital ones, but what I use are just straight ones you buy at the gas station. This one is a PSI gauge you can buy at any gas station. Basically take it, shove it onto the valve, and it pops out, and tells you what PSI you have in here. Here's another kind of gauge that I have. I bought this at Walmart actually. It's a slime gauge. What's cool about it is there's a back and a forward head to check the PSI. Now, it's the same idea. You put this in like this, boom, and again, it's slightly below 70, which means these are both pretty accurate. Now, you might ask what this back one is for. Let me show you. Come on to the back of the car. Okay, so what you have here is the back dually on the passenger side. 1 tire, 2 tires, dualies. Okay? These valves are cool because although this is for the rear tire, it's an extended valve that sticks out, so you don't have to stick all your head all the way in to check the gauge. If you look in there, I want to show you what I'm talking about. If you look here, this is the valve for the rear tire. You can't really see it, but it goes all the way into the back tire. And when you have an extended valve like this, it's really easy to check the air pressure just by pushing it like that. But for instance, if you didn't have that, you would have to push all the way in and measure it like this, okay? If you look at this one down here, in the bottom, this valve is for the front tire. I have a special valve that kind of goes curling up towards you so that you can push it like this and test the air pressure. If you didn't have this, your valve would be backwards, right here, pointing this way, right? If you didn't have this, your valve would be pointing the opposite direction of you. In order for you to test it, you would have to go this way, which doesn't work, right? So what this enables, this kind of tester enables you to do is a backward test, okay? So if this valve was not curved, you can actually test it like this, and it would pop right out. If you have a dually system, this is the kind of tester you want. One that you can test backwards, one that you can poke all the way in, and one that you can do a forward test on, okay? Alright, so the manufacturer recommends 80 in the back and 75 in the front. That's all good. You're going to get good efficiency, very little heat buildup when you drive long distance. But what I found is if you pump it to that maximum 80 PSI for these tires, you're going to drive like you're riding on bricks, like brick tires. It's going to be such a harsh ride. So what I do is I drop the front to 71, 72 PSI and the back to 75 all across. So I go 5 down roughly what the manufacturer recommends. You might argue with me saying that's incorrect, but in my experience, you get a better drive and less blowouts. I've actually had more blowouts at maximum PSI than a little bit below. My theory is that at the maximum PSI, when you drive long distance, the tire gets too inflated, and when it gets hit, it can blow out. I could be wrong in that theory, but in practice, I have found that 5 PSI below what the manufacturer recommends is a very good rule of thumb. And mind you, if you're going to load the RV to the maximum, you're towing a car behind you and all that crap, fine, make it maximum. But it's really rare that happens, and generally speaking, if you're not at the maximum load, you want to go 5 below, just for a more comfortable ride. Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed this tire pressure guide for RVs. Remember, if you did enjoy the content or learn something, please hit that like button because it helps me a lot in terms of internal motivation. And if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe, and then whenever I have a new video come out, you're going to get a notification and you can watch it. So until next time, happy RVing. Peace out.